Now, I want to talk about once you're back at the interview at KPD on the 3rd floor. So it's you, Investigator Riddle, and Ms. Howington in the room. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess just for clarification, do you see Ms. Howington, the person that we've been talking about, Robin Howington, do you see her in the room?
Yes, ma'am.
If you could just point and describe what she's wearing.
She is the young lady at the defense table in the green top with the blonde hair.
Your Honor, if we could have the record reflect she is identified. He has identified the defendant. Okay, so once you're back at KPD, you're on the 3rd floor, you're doing the interview. At some point during that interview, does Ms. Howington make a statement that she had been raped?
Correct. She does.
She made that statement to you?
Yes, ma'am.
And so at some point, does she begin to cry and you hug her to console her?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm actually going to show you. Okay, just to be clear, you hug her after she has kind of said in passing that she was raped. Is that right?
It was after that. It was a little while after that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I want to, just so that we're clear, I want to show you the exact moment here. Your Honor, if we could have the screen.
So, do you think he'd ever do anything to try to hurt this?
Again, is this you seated here?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't really answer that because I'm not around. I mean, he won't even let me know where he lives. And she's scared of him.
So tell me this. So this situation that you're saying happened yesterday, could that possibly happen today?
What do you mean?
Them getting into it, could that possibly took place today?
I don't
Not yesterday. Them getting into it at your house, could that possibly
No,
happen
it was
today?
Friday.
You pop.
We got 3 different videos on this. I do apologize. I don't remember exactly which one it's on.
It's the first one.
You want the code for anything?
3926.
39. Totally wrong.
Walmart put highway and buys cars.
We're pretty certain it's white.
But you know,
And he had them.
I don't know.
Because we've got witness.
what was he wearing?
He had on a black shirt and he had a black hat on.
Anything did you ever see him when you first got home?
No.
You think he might have been, you think he really was following you?
I think that he was just watching.
I think you're right. I think the video is going to tell us that he was probably sitting, watching, and waiting for you to come home. We knew this is domestic. And we figured the whole time that you're scared. We understand it. We just don't want you to lie to us. You know, it's more than, you're okay. You're okay. You lost the day.
This is what this is all.
Okay, so is this the moment in time in the interview when you hug her?
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you hug her?
Because at that point, like I told her, no matter what you think about her, no matter the situation, she lost a child. And so at that point, I had been trying to get her to have somebody there with her. She didn't have anybody. I felt that she finally was starting to tell us the truth. And like I said, she's lost a child. So I was trying to console her.
And we see a hand kind of right there at the back of your neck. Is that Ms. Howington's hand?
Yes, ma'am.
At any point in time, did she tell you that she was uncomfortable?
No, ma'am.
At any point in time, did you pull your firearm out
No,
during
ma'am.
this interview?
No, ma'am.
Did she try and push you away
No,
whenever
ma'am.
you gave her a hug? She actually, it seems as though she's hugging you back. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
Okay. Have you ever dealt with victims of rape before?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you hugged victims of rape?
Yes, ma'am.
Do victims of rape, in your experience, sometimes need consoling in that manner.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, just to be clear, did Ms. Howington make any indication to you that she was uncomfortable when you were doing this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So again, I don't want to go into the full statement or anything just because we've heard a lot about that. I want to talk to you now about when the story, Ms. Howington's story, changes from this strange black male to it's now thinking it's Anton. Okay, do you recall that portion of the interview?
Yes, ma'am.
And so when we're listening to the interview, we can kind of hear you say, I think that this might have been Anton. Do you recall saying that?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you just explain why it was that you said that?
In doing this job, you usually don't have people hurt kids in that manner. That Destiny was hurt, that she was murdered. That very, very rarely happens. When something like that does happen, it's usually connected to some domestic incident of one parent saying, if I can't have the child, you can't have the child. So we had, before we went in to speak with her, we had found where there had been a history of domestics between Ms. Howington and Destiny's father. And then even in the interview, she's telling us, I thought it was for me. So taking the totality of all that stuff, I don't think there's a random black guy that came in her house. I think that the black guy, so we know Antoine's black, I think that's the black guy that came in the house and shot Destiny. It makes more sense than random black guy came in and shot my 5-year-old and didn't touch me or my 2-year-old. That just didn't line up with what we were being told. But the fact that there's a history of domestics, this is the father of the child, this is the only person that's hurt during this incident, it lined up and made more sense.
Okay, and so just to be clear, for the timing of this, when you say Antoine specifically, is this after Ms. Howington has said to you that she believes the shot was intended for her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you intending to put any sort of ideas in Ms. Howington's head or anything like that?
No, ma'am. I was just trying to get some sort of truth because we hadn't been able to get anything out of her truthfully to go forward and trying to find justice for this murdered 5-year-old.
Okay. And so after the interview at KPD, you and Detective Riddle and Ms. Howington, do you all then go back to the home on Balsam Drive?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when you're at the home on Balsam Drive, I want to talk to you about I'm going to show you a couple pictures that have already been admitted as collective exhibit 35. I'm going to flip through those there. Just tell me if you recognize anything in them.
This is the closet from Ms. Howington's house that we went back and looked at, took the stool to. This is the top of the closet where all the high heels were. This is the door on that closet. Also in the top of that closet on one of these pictures, there's a black bag in the top of the closet.
I'm going to talk to you about that bag.
And then it's just more pictures of the closet.
Okay. So I want to talk to you first of all about that black bag that you just mentioned that is sitting up in the top of the closet. Was that black bag sitting in the top of the closet when you arrived back at Balsam Drive?
No, ma'am.
Where was that bag located?
It was hanging on the back of the closet door.
Okay. And so we've got another picture in here showing the closet door. I have it upside down. So it looks like on the back side here that there is a knob on so if you have the closet closed, there would be a knob on that side. Is that fair?
Correct.
But on the other side, there's just the end of this knob. I guess there's not actually a knob that you can turn. Is that right?
Correct.